Hello everybody, my name is Luke Marr and this is Hot La Mode, and today on Hot La Mode we are going to be spilling all of the tea about the menswear shows that have gone on from London to Milan to Paris. First things first, I know virtually nothing about menswear, but I thought it was really important to talk about because we have so much stuff going on in the future, couture, and then the whole of fashion month that I just thought I'd get the blood pumping. So I usually chalk up the menswear shows as a fuckboy's paradise, but this season has really started my conversion therapy into what seems to be a new and non-conforming menswear experience. I usually have nothing to do with menswear because it scares me because I feel like all of these straight men are going to attack me on my social medias, but I just wanted to talk about it because I do think it's important. I think that a lot of designers are stepping out of the box of tailored suits and sneakers and dress shoes, and so I kind of want to talk about that because I do feel like it's a changing time and it's something that's very important to the fashion industry. Before we get into the actual video, I'm going to point you in the direction of my Instagram, which is at Hot La Mode. I feel like it's very important to promote this because I can't be putting out videos every single day or anytime that some really big fashion event happens, but I always talk about them on my Instagram. So if you guys are looking for fashion news and my opinions when things are happening, you can find me on Instagram at Hot La Mode. So let's get started in London, and Wales Bonner was sex. The casting was magnificent as always, and somehow Grace always knows how to get into my head and create the clothing skinny and tall me would have as wardrobe essentials. Grace, as in Grace Wales Bonner, continued to showcase Black culture and history, using Creole sailors as inspiration for exceptional sailor pants and jackets, and American artist Jacob Lawrence for print references. Grace continues to showcase the beauty of Black dressing and how it does not solely have to reference rap and R&B. Craig Green is another strong London contender with his uniformed inspirations, but his beautiful jackets always steal the show. Craig has mastered the art of balance in his shows, and he skillfully puts forth interesting and wearable menswear pieces that use engrossing fabrics and paneling. But he's no one-trick pony. Through his experimental pieces that create a heightened sense of what menswear can be, Craig demonstrates that abstraction in clothing does not solely have to be female. Craig again was lambasted behind the scenes for a show that seemed too similar to his previous collections. But, similar to Alessandro Michele at Gucci, unless they paying your bills, pay them bitches no mind, Craigie. Now we're going to be moving on to Milan. Francesco Rizzo's Marni men's showed promise. The wrinkled suits, screen-printed chair monkeys, and rad plaid on plaid were smart. I originally thought Francesco was having an Icarus moment, flying too close to the Prada sun. But could his stickers, instead of prints, be a subtle nod to Moschino without being a total copy? The clothing at Fendi was good, but the Logomania felt like it was trying way too hard to remain relevant. Prada was nice, but speaking as not yet a Prada-phile, it felt overhyped and in the same boat as Fendi with the Logomania. Next we're on to Moschino. Jeremy Scott relies on very literal collection concepts to carry him through as creative director of Moschino, and this season is absolutely no different. This collection was particularly dark, shying away from the merrymaking likes of Flower Power and McDonald's. The collection predominantly explored the idea of kinkiness, with full glossy PVC bodysuits, naughty newspaper clipping dresses, and Jean-Paul Gaultier-inspired lingerie as daywear. Unfortunately, the menswear took a backseat to the women's wear, which left us with thoughts of sugar plum drag queens and full bondage eleganza dancing in our heads. And even Violet Chachki of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 7 made an appearance in a conjoined tux, making the influence of gender bending very apparent. And Dolce was a shit show, but you didn't need me to tell you that, did you? Now that we're done with all that, let's move on to the fun stuff. Paris. You all wanted it, and now you're gonna get it. Let's talk about Palomo, Spain. Palomo is every fashion queen's fantasy, and this season continued the trend of imagining how great the bourgeois of the past would have been if Palomo, Spain was around. This season was based on hunting. while shuffling historical dress references all around. Never have I so badly wanted to be the fat gay cousin to Juliet when she's thinking about dating that Twinkie Romeo. Next, let's talk about Off-White. Virgil disappointed, and it's honestly so annoying that it's right after I put out that amazing video about him. The collection felt all over the place, and even Vogue mentioned the blatant interpretations of Raf, Margiela, and Dimna. Girl, if Vogue calls you out, that must mean you done goofed. Like, Virgil, get it together. Louis Vuitton's Kim Jones debuted his final collection as menswear director, and I'm sad to see him go. This collection really opened my eyes to the brilliance of Kim's work. He balances experimental prints, colors, and pieces within sellable basics that allow consumers to feel both comfortable and stylish. The boots were impeccable, and one of the only reasons I tolerate Louis Vuitton's bipolar design directions, and the bags help to create cohesion between the men's and women's lines. I think it may be difficult for the next menswear director to be so in sync with Nicola the way that Kim was, or the way that Nicola was in sync with Kim. Rick Owens, one of the menswear gods, created a collection based on Sisyphus, a Greek mythological king whose eternal punishment was to push a rock up a hill. Sounds an awful lot like syphilis. But, other than that, the collection based on restriction and mundanity played out well in the beautiful, yet strangely cut dresses, capes, and rompim. I know, shocker, rompims at Rick Owens. I mean, menswear is really pulling it out, isn't it? John Galliano debuted his first men's collection for Margiela, and it was undoubtedly amazing. An offshoot of his women's and couture collections that featured trench coats heavily. Burberry, anyone? Men's tabbies were introduced, thank the gay gods, and luckily the deconstructing nature of Margiela remained intact. A strong yet sterile first menswear outing from Galliano that left me begging for a pair of tabbies and an IV. And Demoulemeister was dark and pirate-like, and Shiver Me Timbers, I Want More. The collection took inspiration from British poet William Blake, and after reading the Poison Tree poem, I get why the boys look like they just got out of a deep-seated depression. But if depression leads to long belted coats and fur-skin jackets, I obviously don't have it. Y Project gave us thigh-high Ugg boots, and I considered purchasing a pair of normal Ugg boots at the thrift store the other day, so we're gonna let this fade into obscurity, thanks. And finally, Vetements, the baby of immensely popular Dimna Vasalia, and the catalyst for the fashion trends of today. Recently, Vetements collections have been shit. The pieces seem to have been bought at a thrift store and put on models with no design or styling whatsoever. This collection luckily brought back that Eastern European babushka realness we know and love. The menswear was weird and seemed to be a lesser factor for Dimna. I love the women's, felt by the men's, so I really don't know. Overall, this men's season was very interesting. Please let me know what you guys thought of some of the designers' collections in the comments below, and if there are any collections that you guys really enjoyed that I didn't talk about, also talk about them in the comments. I will link all of my social media and all of the things you need to know in the description box below as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and TTYL.